Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in to today's presentation, Internationally Educated Healthcare Professionals, Integration to a Canadian Work Environment, Perspectives from Organizations and Newcomers. Now, before we begin our presentation today, we'd like to begin with a quick acknowledgement that N4 and the organizations of our presenters today are located in Ottawa, Ontario. Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory, and the peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia, and we honor them in this land. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We also honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and their valuable past and present and future contributions to this land that we get to live, play, and work on today. My name is Andrew Tolmeyer. I'm N4's Education Coordinator. I'll be hosting and moderating today's presentation. Here today as well is my co-host and colleague, Colleen Drake, Engagement Coordinator, who will be monitoring the Q&A box today. I'm pleased to introduce you to today's presenters. I'm going to ask that you turn on your video as I introduce you. Henry Akanko is the Project Director of Higher Immigrants Ottawa, a community-wide initiative of United Way East Ontario that brings together employers and key stakeholders to develop champion solutions to systemic barriers around the integration of skilled immigrants into the local labor force. As project director, he provides strategic leadership and oversees the management of HIO initiative. Henry leads a team that undertakes employer engagement for immigrant employment, develops programs, tools, and resources to support organizations create diverse, inclusive, and belonging workplaces. Prior to joining United Way, he held a senior management role within the international development organizations, including the Canada-Africa Community Health Alliance, World University Services of Canada, and the Catholic Relief Services. He holds a Master's of Arts in Collaborative International Development Studies from the University of Guelph. Welcome. Anna Larsson Berke is the program manager for the Career Transitions Program at CCI Ottawa, where she manages the Community and Employment Connections and SOPA pre-arrival. All these programs, all these programs provide different employment services depending on the individual newcomer's needs and background. Anna is originally from Sweden, where she also worked with newcomer support, such as mentorship, lifelong learning, community engagement, and more. Welcome. Zahra, Azizi, has been with World Skills Employment Center since June of 2023, serving as sector-specific employment specialist with the Credential Recognition Program. With a keen focus on licensing for regulated professions, she provides essential career counseling and coaching to the clients for further education and training. Zahra is passionate about bridging the gap between talent and opportunity. She conducts enlightening information sessions and delivers sector-specific employment counseling, demonstrating a dedicated commitment to assisting professional newcomers to Canada in regulated fields. Welcome. And finally, Barb Hogan has been with World Skills Employment Center as well since 2018, transitioning from 25 years of experience working in the international development sector, today as the manager of the Roadmap to Employment Program and Credential Recognition Program. Barb is currently managing these two programs at the World Skills Center, and they focus on key foundational services such as credential assessment, licensing for regulated professions, and the trades and financial assistance for further education and training. Passionate and energetic mentor and advocate for newcomers, she's committed to building partnerships and collaborations to make good things happen for newcomers. Barb holds a master's degree in environmental studies and community development and has lived and worked in Asia, Africa, and the South Pacific. Welcome on in, everybody. Now, today's session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our N4 platform. We will share this with you as soon as it becomes available. Should there be any technical issues during this presentation, we'll inform you of details for an alternate makeup session. And before we begin today's event as well, just a couple housekeeping pieces where I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our platform features to help enhance your participation experience. Throughout today's session, we invite you to write your questions in the Q&A window. We know that sometimes many of you might have the same question or be interested in a particular response. There is the option to upvote questions, and we can prioritize which questions we pose to the speakers first. As well, please preface which individual you would like your question addressed to. As well, this webinar is accredited, members of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, the Canadian College of Health Leaders, and Canadian Psychological Association can earn credits towards their maintenance of certification requirements by attending this webinar today. And finally, our speakers have no conflicts of interest to declare. And so with that said, let's jump right into today's presentation. We'll go in the order of Henry, followed by Anna, and then Barb and Zahra today. So with that said, I'll pass the virtual podium over to our first presenter, Henry Akanko. Take it away.
Thanks very much, Andrew, and thank you to the N4 team for the invitation to participate in this webinar. I have about 10 minutes to share some perspectives of employer barriers on this webinar, and as the focus of this is to international educated professionals, what I would be doing is highlighting what the employer barriers are, and also providing some pointers for you in terms of things you need to pay attention to when you're applying for jobs in order to meet some of those barriers that employers have in being able to effectively hire and integrate international educated professionals into the workplace. As Andrew highlighted in my introduction, I work for High Immigrants Ottawa. It's an initiative of United Way East Ontario. Our mandate is to support employer capacity to identify barriers, foster solutions, which we do through the work we do, working with employers and other key stakeholders. We primarily serve employers. We work very collaboratively with our partners that I'm happy to be presenting with today to ensure that we are able to facilitate connections between the demand for talent that employers have and the skills that immigrants bring, who get support through employment delivery agency partners to enter the labor market. So without much ado, I'm going to go straight into these issues because we don't have a lot of time. And most of these won't come to you as a surprise because these are things that are common knowledge in terms of the barriers. But one of the caveats I would make at the onset is to point out the fact that when it comes to international educated healthcare professionals, the unique situation most of you find yourselves is because of the backgrounds you have that fall within the regulated professions. So some of the general barriers that most newcomers have, you have slightly nuanced barriers in that your hurdle is to get through your licensure process for those of you who fall within the regulated fields. And once you get those, usually getting employment is not as much a challenge as with other people, even though you also still face some barriers when it comes to the whole application process and onboarding into the workplace. So with that said, I will just highlight very quickly, and some of these barriers you would find resonance with. Others fall outside of the IEP groups felt by the general newcomer population. One of the biggest one is employer difficulty or challenges around evaluating international qualifications. And this is something that we hear a lot of. How do we know the qualifications in one country is equivalent or is the same as the standards here in Canada? We don't understand how to go about doing this. And so the default is to focus on those that they usually do understand their qualifications. The other piece related to this as well is how to evaluate and assess international work experience. An individual is worked in other countries or another country. How does that relate to a Canadian workplace environment? And how do we go about assessing and making sure that this person would be able to work within our workplace? Now, one of the contexts that we need to understand is some of these challenges and barriers employers have in wanting to be able to satisfy themselves that they have the understanding and ability to assess this comes down often to looking at the quality of the service that the individual will be contributing to. And in healthcare, you understand this better than I do. We are often dealing with a very delicate life and death situation. So you want to make sure that you have the person who has the right training and skills to be able to do the job. The other piece as well is tied to retention. When you hire people, you want to make sure that you're keeping them. They are not coming in for a short period. And if it's not a good fit because of skills, you're having to let them go and start the recruitment processes as well. So there's some human resource recruitment mitigation measures that sometimes are at play there, but we know sometimes other factors come into play other than these mitigating factors. The issue of overqualification comes in as well. Some of you who are trying to get related jobs in the field while you pursue your licensure processes. You apply for a job, and one of the reasons that you might get turned down is because the employer thinks that you're overqualified for that role without understanding your motive and your interest at that point in time in your career, why you might be choosing to apply for that particular position. Organizations also have challenges with their own internal strategies and their ability to attract, hire, and recruit and onboard newcomers into the workplace. And these are things that you also need to conversant with when you are preparing your application process, in ways that makes it easier to be able to be seen and to be considered even through the first cut of getting invited into that interview process, and then continuing with the application process. Some organizations have challenges with managing a workforce that is diverse because they don't have the diversity, inclusion, and belonging processes in place, or competency of individuals who are managers in the workplace to be able to support them effectively manage these individuals. So these are just a snapshot of some of those broader challenges that employers have. But I usually like to summarize this into what I call a skate. Yeah. And this is my something that I created. We like a lot of acronyms. And so SCATES stands for skills, knowledge, education, and training. So I'll just highlight each one of this very quickly. And for you as IEPs looking for work, how would you go about navigating this when it comes to the process of employment and the challenges I just outlined that employers have? So one of the challenges most employers have within this context, cutting across both your education and work experiences, how do we effectively assess that this person has the skills to be able to do this work? So what can you do around this is articulate very clearly the skills set that you bring in your application. Use specific examples of how you have applied those skills in previous roles or projects. It makes it easier for them to be able to relate and see the transferability of those skills from that international experience that you are bringing from another jurisdiction to their workplace. So you have to make sure that you are tailoring your skills to match the requirements of the job posting. So look at the very specific things they're asking for, highlight them, the most pertinent ones to the position, and match them with your skill set. The other piece is knowledge. Again, there's a challenge here employers have about how do we assess your knowledge. Now, there's a difference between knowledge and education. So how knowledgeable is the person about the industry is an example, about trends in the particular industry. So it's up to you to demonstrate a solid understanding of the particular role, the organization that you're applying for, and this requires that you take your time to do some research to understand that organization and incorporate relevant information in your application that speaks to this. Your job is to help them understand what you bring. Make it easy for them to understand what you're offering and make it difficult for them to overlook your application. You also have to showcase your awareness of current trends because a lot of things are changing. Sometimes there are new trends that are emerging that you are already abreast with those trends from your previous experience. Don't take for granted that just because this is something that is new, everybody naturally associates every applicant with having those expertise. Make sure you highlight those. Education. Emphasize the education that is most relevant to the job. Sometimes we have several degrees. We've taken a number of courses, and we list a whole lot of them. The reviewer has a very short amount of time to go through them. Make sure you are highlighting the most relevant to that job, and at least bring those ones up front so that they can see those quickly and not go by missing those points that you have. Related to education as well is some of the achievements that you have made. Please quantify those. It's easier for people to see results tied to things that you have done, and make sure that you always prioritize and highlight these upfront in your resume. Last but not the least is training. This is an area where a lot of organizations are not often very strong at in providing upskilling training for people. So they are looking for people, as we always say, the cliche, hit the ground running. So again, make sure that you're including relevant training that you have had. If you've taken enhancement courses with certificates to show that you have done so, demonstrate those, and also demonstrate a commitment to ongoing professional development in your application. So these are a few things that I would like to highlight in terms of the challenges employers have and ways you can present yourself as you apply for positions. I believe my time is up, and I'll be happy to respond to any questions when we get to the Q&A stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. And with that, we will pass the virtual podium over to Anna.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a nice and warm afternoon indoors, everyone. My name is Anna Larsson Berke, and I have the honor of being the current custodian of a very unique program. We're coming up to our 20th year here in Ontario, and I want to explain a little bit about what that means for you. It ties in nicely with what Henry was just describing to you. Our team may be able to provide you with some of the support needed. So I'm going to share my screen. And Andrew, can we all see this?
Not yet.
Okay, so
There we go.
there we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So the career transitions for internationally educated health professionals. It was actually developed over 20 years ago by my colleagues at Catholic Center for Immigrants, which is the largest and oldest settlement agency in Ottawa. And the caseworkers were faced with a lot of newcomer clients who were highly skilled and educated, but could not find their path to practice in Canada. The idea was that this is a wasted resource, so they created a healthcare specific program to provide these clients with current information related to the entire healthcare field. So that's an ongoing collaboration, and it's constantly changing. It is also unique in the sense that it's client-centered. We develop individual action plans that addresses both the settlement needs and employment guidance. And today it's delivered by CCI with in partnership with World Skills Employment Center. You will hear more about them after me. And we're funded by the Ontario Ministry of Labour. So to enroll, you have to be at least 18 years old and a resident of Ontario. There are other programs in other provinces, but also keep in mind that if you want to get ahead in Canada, there are some great areas around that you should perhaps consider moving to. And we have some information about that too. You have to have an international post-secondary education, an international work experience in a highly skilled occupation, a CLB of 7 or higher, and my organization and other organizations will help you achieve that if necessary. There are language instructions that you can access. And you have to be a permanent resident or refugee claimant or naturalized Canadian. You have to have a valid work permit. So if you're part of a group with a special permit based on current international crisis, if you're from Ukraine, Palestine, and so on, you will be able to enroll in our program as well. So why do we have the career transitions program? Well, first of all, as many of you either experience now or later, you'll find yourself in survival jobs. Licensing in Canada is, as many of you know, extremely complicated. It's expensive and it's a lengthy process. There are also limited residencies for international medical doctors. The settlement process in itself cannot be left out of this conversation because we find that a lot of our clients are they're struggling with two fronts, both to attain a job in their chosen sector here in Canada, and also dealing with everything that the settlement process entails. But to obtain licensing, employment in the healthcare sector is essential. And the good news is, in January 2023, latest stats, over 162,000 healthcare and social assistance jobs in Ottawa was unfilled. The highly educated and experienced IEHPs, that I call them here, it could be anyone, it could be veterinarians, medical doctors, nurses, you know, researchers. We have all of the different types of clients joining our program, and they have the transferable skills that is necessary to transition to really well paid or rewarding jobs in a field, in related fields, or in a completely new field. And they are very important to Canada, especially now. So we assist the IEHPs to transition to non-regulated, alternative healthcare-related employment, to explore how to retrain, if that's what you choose to do, and or understand how to achieve licensing in Canada. It's a very complicated path, but we have all of the knowledge that we can give you, so you don't have to go look for everything yourself. We also have a second agenda, and that is to do outreach to employers. Much like Henry, and before Henry and hire immigrants, we didn't have much of that. So CCI have been working on this for a long, long time. We need to find champions. We need to have internships, volunteering, unregulated job opportunities for IEHPs. And we have to get employers to recognize what a tremendous resource we have in our country. So as you can see, we have certain regulated occupations that could actually translate to an unregulated job. The COVID pandemic was a blessing in disguise for a lot of our clients because they got hired right away as research lab technicians, vaccination administrators, test assistants, and so on and so forth. Very good experience for a lot of people. We partner with multiple partners and employers in Ottawa, and we're building a larger network all over Ontario at the moment. So even before the pandemic, we had transitioned to an online program delivery because the nature of career transitions was so different than a lot of other available programs. So we had clients come from all over Ontario, and by giving them an online access, anyone can join from anywhere. We have multiple cohorts per year, smaller cohorts, and they start with a very intense 10 workshop period with facilitated workshops, room for discussions, and so on. That follows by one-on-one support so that you can develop your personal action plan, including both employment guidance and settlement support to ensure that you're job ready on every level of your life. And after that period, when you go off and start working on your own, the team is always there for you. We do not just close your file. It will take different amount of time and a different path for every single individual that goes through this program and any other program. No one that comes to Canada is the same. And some of the things you'll learn, it's an extensive knowledge of the Canadian health system. You will learn about healthcare labor markets, trends, demographics, gaps in services, future jobs that could be available, so on and so forth. It's a very important part, identifying your transferable skills. This is also a personal process. You have your eyes set on working as a professional doctor, maybe, or nurse. You identify with your job, it's a vocation. All of a sudden, you have to kind of leave that. That is not an easy thing to do. So we're going to guide you through this, and we're going to do it together. Another really important part, and that's what Henry also mentioned, what I call maybe soft skills. It's something that we try to impress on people in our SOPA program and in career transitions and in CC. You need to understand how to maneuver in the job resumes, cover letters, the interviews, and how to retain that job once you get it. It all comes down to soft skills. It's a vital piece of your development. You will expand your network. You will prepare. We will have mock interviews. It sounds like something that you would have already done, perhaps. Create a resume, learn how to write cover letters, and so on. But it needs to be specific to Canada, and it's specific to the Canadian health sector. And that's why we have professionals to help you. We have HR experts from the healthcare sector who can tell you exactly what it is that they're looking for and how you should, create your presentation so that you get that interview and then on. We do community referrals and resources. For instance, World Skills and CCI, we work with a lot of partners in Ottawa, and we have connections all over Ontario and other parts of the country even. We assist you in all other individual settlement needs, and this is what I talked about. You have to have a Canadian Ontario driver's license, OHIP, childcare support for your elderly parents, perhaps, your partner, mental health, physical health, learn languages, digital literacy for some. You didn't have to do much of that perhaps before. Maybe I had a secretary that took care of things, and now all of a sudden you have to learn how to use that database and how to write an email in a Canadian workplace. And there's so many things that you need to learn, and these things also keeps you from being successful in your professional life. So why should Canada support something like this? Well, we all know about the job shortage, or sorry, labor shortage in Canada, especially in healthcare. I want to point out two of these points. We have an aging population. The 2021 census says that people aged 85 and over is the fastest growing population and could triple by 2046. They're estimating a 2.7 million Canadians being 85 and over by 2050. Who's going to take care of these people? And another very important part, culturally sensitive healthcare. I have a background in medical anthropology, and there's ample evidence of the power of how you are being treated in a medical context related to your cultural background, your language, and understanding makes a huge difference. And in Canada right now, we have about 25% of the population is born elsewhere. 50% of Torontonians are born outside of Canada. The understanding that all of our internationally trained professionals have and can bring is vital for research, for social science research, for medical research, for practice, everywhere. And this is our small but mighty team. We have our workshop facilitator who is active in the healthcare sector, and he has built this program and he is keeping it running. And we are constantly looking for new resources. We have our program coordinator who's maneuvering this so that we make sure that every single client get their personal action plan and the support they need. We have Mejdi, who is actually also working for World Skills. He's an amazing employment counselor. You will meet him first of all when you have your info session, if you join us. And Mika, she is tirelessly trying to get you the internships, the volunteer opportunities, the employments, all of that good stuff. And then Amir, who will help you work on your resumes, mock interviews, all of that hard stuff. We will be the ones who are giving you all the resources that you need, but also, you know, the tough love that you may need to be able to succeed. Once you go through this, you're going to understand why we may be a little bit tough. So that's for it's for us. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at the Q&A. And if you want to get any feedback on next cohort and so forth, the email address is on the screen. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, Anna. Thank you. Again, another very robust set of potential opportunities there for you at Anna's organization as well. And finally, let's pass the virtual podium over to Barb and Zahra to discuss the credential recognition program. Take it away. Oh, Barb, you're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me? No.
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Thank you so very much for inviting us today. And I think we've got a nice set of challenges presented by Henry. So a really fantastic overview, which I hope our presentation is going to help address some of those challenges. And then a fantastic program for any of you interested in building your skills and opportunities through the Career Transitions program with Catholic Center for Immigration and World Skills. So I'm happy to present to everyone today. Both Zahra and I will be presenting the credential recognition program that is offered in It's a Canada-wide program, so it's funded by ESDC. We have a variety of services that we're going to talk about that we offer through the program. So I'm happy to have everyone here today. So just in terms of the bigger picture of the credential recognition program, it is a community-based partnership. So there are 4 organizations that are participating in the program. It is led by OCLF, so that's our kind of lead partner, the Ottawa Community Loan Fund. World Skills is part of this program. We're also working with OCISO, so the Ottawa Community Immigrant Services Organization, and LASA, the Lebanese Arab Social Service Association. So each of us play a critical role in the partnership. It is the second phase of the program, so there are a few kind of new things about the program, which include a whole component on working with in the trades, but we continue to have that focus on working in the regulated fields and providing newcomers with support to navigate all the different pieces of licensing, credential assessment, career exploration, and we provide mentorship as well, and loans for pursuing your further education, training, getting your credentials, etc. So just in terms of eligibility criteria for the program, you must be educated outside of Canada. Languages, you must have English or French, and normally for most of our programs, you need to have English language levels of 6 and above. For the trades program, it's a bit different, but for this group here today, 6 and above. Convention refugee or protected person, permanent resident, naturalized Canadian. You must be seeking your credential recognition, licensing, or want to explore alternative careers as well. So we provide a lot of support in that area. And you must be legally permitted to work in Canada. So those are just the overall eligibility criteria. I want to tell you just a little bit about what each partner organization provides in terms of services in this program. So for example, with LASA, they are providing credential assessment support. So just as Henry mentioned, the challenges of figuring out what you need to do, what kind of documentation you need to have, how do I get support, who can help me navigate this process. We have amazing colleagues working at LASA who are able to help you navigate those, what can be quite complex and difficult processes at times. So the credential assessment piece is a huge part of the program. And I talk about this program as well as being quite foundational. So when you get your credential assessment, when you understand the licensing path, you can then begin to figure out, okay, maybe I do want to go down that path. Maybe I don't. Here's the alternatives for me as well. So it's very foundational, when you first arrive in Canada as well. World Skills. So Zahra and I are both working on the CRP program at World Skills. And so we're providing support for regulated sector licensing guidance. So working with professionals across a range of different expertise. As I said, we also provide some trades equivalency support as well. We're also providing career exploration and introduction to new training and learning opportunities. So when you come into the CRP program, you will also be eligible for the services through World Skills, which includes lots of different programming, from language to skills upgrading to participating in employment preparation courses as well, alongside the individual support that you would get from Zahra to understand your licensing requirements, look at alternative careers, as Anna spoke about, and also careers in your field of expertise, if that's the route that you want to take as well. But the key piece being, let's help you to figure out what it is that you need to do to pursue your licensing in your regulated field. So that's World Skills. At OCISO, they have a beautiful mentorship program. So if you're working with Zahra, for example, you may have a conversation about how we can get you even more support And what we would do is match you up through the OCISO mentorship program with somebody in your field of expertise who would then support you along that path, open up doorways, introduce you to networks, have that conversation with you about, hey, have you, thought about attending these kinds of events and activities, etc. And then OCLF, the Ottawa Community Loan Fund, they have an amazing program that if you are particularly interested in doing further education, further training, it could be a certification of 1 year, it could be, going back to school for 3 years, it could be help with your licensing costs, etc. So they have some financial assistance for our clients as well. So together, you may enter any of our doors, but together we will work with a client to make sure they get the full support as needed and as identified by you after having conversations with our colleagues. So I'm going to hand it over to Zahra, and she's going to talk a little bit about credential recognition and the importance, and then we'll go from there.
Hi everyone again, and thank you, Barb. Barb, can you go to the next slide,
that would be
please?
good, eh? There's and we will make sure that you get these PowerPoint for you with all the information as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Barb. Hi again to everyone. I'm so glad to be here having this opportunity to present our program, our credential recognition program to you. I will continue presenting this program and talk a little bit about the sector-specific employment services and support that I offer to the regulated professions, such as health professionals, and some other explanations on the partnership services being offered. So first of all, what is credential recognition? Credential recognition generally refers to having your education, your work experience, and your skills assessed in Canada. And to learn more about that, you need to know about the credentials and qualifications. What are those and what they refer to? Credentials, and specifically foreign credentials, refer to the educational programs, your degrees, your licenses, your certificates that you earned as part of your formal education in your countries of origin. And your qualifications generally refer to your, again, a combination of your education and your experiences, your credentials, your knowledge, your skills, and your work experience. So these qualifications will show that you are qualified for a certain job. In the, talking about the foreign qualifications, you may also know about your competencies or skills, which refer to any sort of skills, levels of knowledge or practice, or also ethical, legal, communicational, or behavioral norms for a specific occupation. So for this group, we're looking at foreign credentials and foreign qualifications for the health professionals, and how to get them assessed in Canada. This assessment, the credential assessment, is so important to show that the degree or diploma or any license that you have earned outside of Canada is equal to the same degree awarded here in Canada. So first of all, you need to get your credentials and qualifications assessed. Then you may also need some license or some certificate to be able and to get qualified to practice your regulated profession in Canada. Barb, can you go to the next one? Thank you. And again, why it is so important to have your credentials assessed. As newcomers to Canada or as the immigrants, credential assessment helps you identify the types of jobs you might be qualified for. You need to know about the job requirements and the fields that you are interested in or you have experience, work experience and education in, and you need to know about the standards. So getting your credentials assessed gives you this opportunity to know how these credentials and qualifications are equivalent to the same degrees or certifications in Canada. So you by this assessment, you will know if your credentials meet those standards for the Canadian employment requirements, and you will also understand your career options and determine that if you need any additional training, if you need other Canadian work experience, and also it demonstrates to the employers what you are qualified for. And it's a very good opportunity to showcase your knowledge, your experience, and your competencies acquired in other countries in Canada, and to be able to show that to the Canadian employers or academic institutions. And types of jobs in Canada. In order to get your credentials assessed and know about your interest or your career path to continue that in Canada and get employed, you need to know about types of jobs. Generally, we have two types of jobs in Canada, non-regulated and regulated. The non-regulated jobs don't have any legal requirement or restrictions to practice, and you don't need any license or certification for them. But the regulated jobs, which include 20% jobs in Canada, they need a license to practice. So there are some ethical guidelines for them, and you need some education and work experience as prerequisites. So for this group that we're presenting to, the health professionals, medical doctors, nurses, dentists, or so, they all are having regulated professions. So you need to go and refer to the regulated bodies for your profession and know about the standards, the rules, the requirements to get licensed and to be able to continue your employment in that regulated profession. In their regulated professions, like the professions related to health professionals, internationally trained health professionals, you may have several questions because as you saw today, you may have different options to go for transitional jobs, to go for licensing, to go for retraining, going back to school. So it's okay to have those kind of questions. You have done your education and work experience in some other country, and now you're new to this country with lots of talent and skills. You need to ask your questions from the specialists like us, the organizations like us, and you need to go and search for the answers to your questions. So it's normal, it's okay to have those kind of questions like, what is the job market like for my profession in Ontario? What are the requirements? Do I need the license? What are the steps? What is the best way to connect with potential employers? Do I need to get my degree accredited, assessed? how to do that, how to prepare for job applications, job interviews. Do I get any financial support from any organizations, or more and more questions that in word skills and as a part of CRP, Credential Recognition Program, we offer these one-on-one meetings, employment counseling meetings, sector specific to your profession, and we go over your profile and your needs, and we review the answers to these questions, and we navigate you through the path that you need to go along. I mentioned regulated bodies earlier. So the licensing bodies that may be related to your professions are listed here: the Royal College of Canada, the regulatory body for becoming a nurse, CNO, and also Medical Council of Canada. There are also some bridging programs that is it's important for you and so helpful to know about. It's important to make up-to-date knowledge for yourself, to get informed about different bridging programs that helps you use your own credentials to start some more training and some bridging to your future employment. And it's a very good way to know about them and consult that with every employment counselor or any specialist that you are talking to. Some other part of this program, CRP, is the financial support that I handed over to my manager, Barb, to tell you more about this option and the OCLF loan. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahra. So just letting you know, you're investigating the credential assessment process, what you need to do. There may be some costs associated with that. You want to pursue your licensing. There may be some additional training you want to do, certification, etc. I want to let everyone know that there is financial assistance available through the Ottawa Community Loan Fund. So there are loans of up to 30,000 Canadian dollars available. And so what would happen is, if you are interested in taking advantage of those loan support, we would set you up with a meeting with OCLF, and they would go through an assessment process with you. They would explain to you all the options for financial assistance. They would also, let you know about some of the other things like OSAP, etc. So you can make the decisions that you need to make according to your level of comfort and moving forward, kind of your opportunity to do more training or education. So there would be an assessment process where you would meet with OCLF, and they would guide you through all those different options. And we really want to talk about this as an investment in your future. And often loans are scary. They're uncomfortable for people, but we've seen a lot of success where clients have taken the options to have a loan, have been able to go back to school, complete that, and find work in their area, and then further progress in their fields as well. So again, that idea that it's an investment in your future, and there is that opportunity through the credential recognition program to access that support. We also offer financial management workshops as well. So just coming in to learn about, the importance of credit, savings, RSPs, etc. So we offer those workshops on a regular basis for our clients. So to help you to be informed and to make smart decisions around your finances. The other program that I wanted to mention in a little bit more detail is the mentorship program with OCISO. So again, as I mentioned, in discussions with our colleagues on the CRP team, if if you would like to have some additional support in your area and field of expertise, we would make a referral for you to OCISO, and they would match you up with a career mentor from your area who would help you to develop your career objectives, do some employment research strategies, help you to do some networking, open some doors, and provide some overall guidance and encouragement. So another person that you can go to be provided with that support. We have some incredible mentors. And just as I'm saying that, you know, what we hope is that our alumni from the program will come back and be mentors as well for other newcomers coming through the program. So this is the credential recognition program. You can contact us through that email address. We have more information on the website. We are happy to talk to anyone who's interested in knowing a little bit more. We're also setting up regular information sessions that you can come to as well. It's a wonderful team of 13 colleagues from 4 organizations. You can enter the program through any of those doors, and we'll be there to support you. That's the end of the credential recognition program. And I know, Andrew, we're really tight for time, but I just want to I'll just do 1 minute to mention, for those of you in the Ottawa region, and Anna has mentioned us a few times, but we are just down the street from Anna. We are World Skills Employment Center. So both Zahra and I work as part of the CRP program, but within World Skills. And we offer a range of different programs. So from pre-arrival support to employer engagement. So working with all of our clients to introduce them to different employment opportunities. I also want to mention that we have a language program, and that's a workplace language program where you're building the language of the workplace. So Anna mentioned the importance of kind of communication in the workplace and figuring out the norms and how things work. This will provide you with some additional skills and tools to be effective in the workplace. So there are courses on professional communications, project management, office administration, etc. So again, a whole range of programs. We're happy to go in detail with you at any point to talk about those programs. If you're interested, we would set you up an appointment at World Skills, and you can join us as part of the World Skills clientele. If you join the CRP program, we can also register you as CRP and at the same time bring you into the World Skills program as well. So we try to make it as easy as possible for clients coming through to access all of the services that we can offer. And that's it, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Zahra. Excellent presentation as well on the World Skills Center and the various programs that are available to those within the Ottawa region, within Ontario. And as we are running very short on time, one quick question. This one is related to nursing candidates. What organizations are you directing nursing candidates to for their credential review?
For their credential assessments?
Yes.
Mainly WES. We work largely with WES.
The World Education
But
Services.
also we know, yeah, so that's for the first initial, but we know there are some of the regulatory bodies as well that require the credential assessment process as well.
Thank you. And one other quick one before we wrap things up. This one's for Anna. With regards to your program, what are the chances, what is the proportion of individuals that secure a job in healthcare after attending your program?
Well, that's a very good question, and it has very much to do with the individual. As I mentioned, we take on about 150 clients per year to be able to give that individualized support that they require. And each person has their own path to walk. Finding out what route to take is a huge piece of the puzzle. And right now, I'm told we've got about 50 who has found employment in healthcare sector out of about 120. So, but again, it's very individual. Depends on where you choose to start looking instead of your chosen, like your previous profession, and how your personal path is moving towards that employment goal.
Thank you. And with that said, I know we have had so many questions, and thank you also to our panelists for typing in answers as well to the Q&A during the presentations as well. We very much appreciate each and every one of our panelists that have been able to join us today. And with that, we will begin a quick wrap up and some closing elements. Thank you so much again, Barb, Zahra, Anna, Henry, for taking time to participate in the discussion today. And many thanks to you, the audience, for joining with us and engaging with us today. You're very much welcome to join us for any of our upcoming events as well, including our upcoming launch event for our tools and resources on February 28th for supporting optimal employment for internationally educated healthcare professionals, hosted by us, N4. And we'll be posting the recording to the N4 platform within the next week or so. We want to keep this dialogue going, so we very much are going to take any of the questions that we had in our Q&A and move them to the discussion forum, the meeting place that is on the newcomernavigation.ca website. We've invited our presenters to respond to any of your questions here. Along with that, you'll be receiving a few curated resources that we have selected out of our resource library. We'll link them when we share the on-demand version of this discussion. So if you haven't yet, please sign up to newcomernavigation.ca to access all our resources, all our learning opportunities, and future educational opportunities through our newsletters, our IEHP newsletters as well. And following this session, you'll be invited to complete a survey. And we very much appreciate your feedback, and we use that information to develop future webinars and future resources to you, our audience. And we kindly ask that you follow that link and complete this brief survey as well. Along with that, as stated, we have our ITP and IEN pathways that are now available on our website. Feel free to check it out at newcomernavigation.ca/ITP-pathways or our IEN pathways at newcomernavigation.ca/IEN-pathway. Thank you again as well. Feel free to check out our mobile app at newcomernavigation.ca/iOS and /Android. And with that said, thank you again, panelists, for joining with us today, sharing your programs, sharing the work that you do, the excellent work that you do to help IEPs and organizations that work directly with immigrants within the Ottawa area. We hope that you can take this information, share it with others as well, audience members. Thank you again. We hope that you have a great day and hope you can join us at a future N4 event. Stay safe and stay well, everybody.